Alright, hello everybody, this is a quick video showing which files you'll get when you download the zip parts file from Thingiverse for the frame construction. When you open up the CardboardCNC full part zip file, inside of that you will see a file by the same name, and once you unzip that, there's 3 files inside of that, the first of which is called Other Files. Inside of that there's another 3 files, the first of which is an Excel spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet has a link to all the parts I bought for this build, not including the wood parts, which I will make a separate video with dimensions for those, as well as it gives you a description and a count for all those parts, as well as a price estimate at this date. And then the second file is a Word document from the manufacturer of the Arduino and ramps board combo that I bought. It includes pinouts and instructions on how to wire everything, as well as answers to common questions. Even if you don't buy this particular brand of board, it's still going to be a very useful file in helping you wire everything up, because most of the Arduino Megas and ramps boards are in a very similar, if not identical, pinout configuration. The third file is a self-contained version of print-run Pronterface, and this is the UI that you will be using to control your CNC machine once you finish building it. This is also the part of code that takes your G code and actually tells your Arduino to move the motors in specific directions and stuff. This is a self-contained file, so it should work right out of the box pretty much as it is, but if it doesn't work or you want a newer version, you can also download it from their website for free. Back out to the original folder, the second folder is called Cardboard Frame, and inside of that are all the parts for building the cardboard frame construction of this build, including all the SolidWorks files, as you can see here, as well as all the DXF files, as you can see here open in AutoCAD. You will have to note for the DXF files, they do have the SolidWorks watermark on them that you're going to have to edit out using a program like CorelDRAW or Paint or whatever before you laser cut these. That's just a weird thing SolidWorks does because it's an educational product that I have. As well as there's 3 images. The images show you how all of the part files go together for the side frame, which is the more complicated part, because you can see these are all the file names that go into the beams for the side pieces, as well as here's another image showing how the internal beams are sandwiched between the outer panels. And then here's an overview of the CNC machine in total. As you can see though, the Z-axis is not fully modeled in this image because those parts are constructed in wood and I didn't bother remaking them in CAD. As well, there's 2 other files inside of this one, the first of which is a Gusset Plate files, and these contain all the files that make up this little, as you can see in this image here, this little corner bracket gusset plates that I made after the fact to kind of add some more rigidity to this motion. As well as there is a folder called C bracket, and that is the part, as you can see on that is this part, the Z-axis is called the C bracket. In here you will find the SolidWorks files and DXF files for making the vertical components of that, as well as your DXFs. And then there's also in this folder called V4, there's all of the tool paths I used to cut it out on the ShopBot, and these are all made using vCarve. So it may or may not work for you, but just in case it's in there, because if you want to try using that. And then back out to the original folder, the third folder is called 3D Printed Stuff, and inside this are all the 3D printed files that went into making this build. The first of which is a threaded nut mount, and this is a little adapter that takes the round nut on the threaded rods and turns into a flat build plate that you can attach to the machine. You can see that in right here. That part goes underneath the Z gantry, as well as I'll show you that there's a file that is a standoff for the bearing for the threaded rod to make up for the height difference between the stepper motor and the threaded rod, as well as there's a file for the stepper motor mount. And if I go back to that, the stepper motor box, as you can see here, is actually that's an older file. This is what we want. The stepper motor box is what you're going to mount the stepper motor in, and unlike a traditional stepper motor mount, this has a structure on all of the sides of it to make sure it stays in the same spot, as well as there's screw holes for you to screw it down. And then there is also the bearing standoff, which is here, as well as there is a standoff for the Arduino Mega, and this is just to allow it to be more easily mounted to the side of the CNC machine. As you can see, the Arduino sits in this little lip, and then there's bigger screw holes for you to screw it into the side of the machine. As you can see I did here, the little white part there. And then there's another folder called the router mount, and these are the 4 files that go into mounting the DeWalt router to the Z-axis. As you can see, the red parts here. And I will show these here. That's the bottom part, the top mount, and then the 2 pieces that bolt to that to complete the sort of clamshell mount for that. And then they are just bolted together, as you can kind of see here, and then screwed into the wooden part. Disclaimer though, these 4 files I did not make myself. Those are the only files in this that are not mine. I grabbed these off of Thingiverse, but unless you're using this exact model of DeWalt router, it probably won't do you any good anyways. You'll have to find your own. But all right, and that pretty much is in conclusion of this part file, the zip part file that you get from Thingiverse. I will also be creating a separate part file for all of the code that goes into this, including the version of Marlin that I flashed the board with, as well as all the code for simple movements such as homing the bed and that kind of thing. And so thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more updates. Bye.